President Trump is promising that there will be a vaccine here shortly. When that vaccine comes out, will you take it?
If the doctors and the public health professionals tell us it is safe, I will trust it. If Donald Trump tells us it's safe, I will not trust it.
Senator Kamala Harris not holding back during an exclusive interview with TV5. Today, she campaigned in Flint and Detroit.
Michigan is a key battleground state that President Donald Trump narrowly won in 2016. The Democratic vice presidential nominee is hoping to persuade voters to turn it blue once again.
And while in Detroit, I met with Harris for a one-on-one interview focusing on what she can do for mid-Michigan and the country if elected. It's an interview you'll see only on 5.
Small businesses are hurting in Michigan. Many of them were closed for several weeks or 3 months. So how do you keep people safe but also keep our businesses open?
Well, first of all, we have to get control of the pandemic and do it in a way that is about being smart.
Fresh off her afternoon touring Flint businesses affected by the pandemic, Vice Presidential candidate Senator Kamala Harris met with me inside a small barbershop on Detroit's east side to talk about what she can do for mid-Michigan and why residents should take advantage of mail-in and early voting.
Can Michiganders trust this process?
Absolutely, Michiganders can trust this process. And you know, listen, here's the thing. There's so much at stake in this election. And the thing that Joe and I want to just make sure is everyone knows that their voice is their vote. Their vote is their voice. We urge people to vote early.
President Donald Trump has threatened to withhold money from Michigan, alleging attempted voter fraud over mail-in ballots. But just this week, he changed course, encouraging Michigan voters to vote early.
We have some of the most diverse communities in mid-Michigan. And in 2016, for the first time, Saginaw County voters chose the Republican candidate, Donald Trump. This was the first time in 3 decades. So how do you plan to win those voters back?
Joe and I plan on earning the vote of everyone. And it's going to be by pointing out that on this issue of COVID-19 and this pandemic, where there have been thousands of Michiganders that have died from it, over 100,000 who have contracted the virus, that Joe and I will grab this bull by its horns and do a number of things, including having a national testing strategy.
But extensive plans to battle COVID-19 come with a hefty price tag.
America's debt is in the trillions right now, and the pandemic is only making the debt worse. How will you get control without cutting programs like Medicare or Social Security?
Well, on day one, we need to get rid of, and we will, that tax cut that Donald Trump passed for the richest 1% of our country and the biggest corporations of our country, which has contributed at least $1 trillion to the deficit.
We dealt with 2 catastrophic disasters in mid-Michigan within the last 5 years. We had the Flint water crisis, and then we had the dam failures this year. So how do you fix the infrastructure issues that are plaguing so many American cities like ours and impacting these lives?
Joe and I have a plan for $2 trillion that will be invested in America's infrastructure. And so when we look at places like Flint, when we look at Detroit, when we look at the rest of the country, and also making sure that 40% of that money is directed at the hardest hit and the most in need communities, and Flint, of course, is on that list.
And on top of Senator Harris's list, to stop the hatred and violence sweeping across the country.
Between race concerns and political issues, it does not feel like we are the United States of America right now. So if elected, how will you unite the country?
By bringing everyone together. It's such a shame what has happened over these last almost 4 years. We've had a president in Donald Trump who has spent full time trying to sow hate and division, turning Americans against each other. It's awful.
I asked whether Trump should nominate a successor to Supreme Court Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg. She said it should be left up to the voters and whomever they choose to be president.